Get ready. Your time to shine is right around the corner. And this time, nothing and no one can hold you back. Your recent downfall was the greatest trick of them all. People thought you were done for. They mistook your silence for surrender. But Uranus going retrograde is about to set the record straight. This is not an ending. It's a brand new start that absolutely no one saw coming. What looked like a total collapse was just the perfect disguise for your comeback. And the real shocker isn't just that you're rising again. It's that you'll come back louder, stronger, and in ways that are simply impossible to ignore. This upcoming September 6th is not just another Tuesday on the calendar. It's the very moment that your hidden strength is pulled out into the open for everyone to see. But here's the real plot twist. This retrograde isn't just about your comeback. It's the universe finally leveling the playing field. They always say retrogrades are setbacks. They couldn't be more wrong. When Uranus, the planet that represents rebellion, starts moving backward, the universe doesn't just hit the rewind button. It completely flips the script. The chosen ones, people like you, finally get to cash in on everything that was taken from them. Every bit of energy that was drained from you, every opportunity that was denied. This retrograde isn't a punishment, it's payback. The enemies who celebrated thinking they had won are about to be completely blindsided. The doors they tried to slam shut in your face will be blown wide open. This isn't chaos for the sake of it. This is cosmic justice. Uranus has always been known as the planet of sudden shocks, disruptions, and complete turnarounds. But this time, the shock isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. This retrograde isn't here to punish you. It's here to expose things. It's like a giant spotlight is being aimed directly at the chosen ones who have been hiding in the shadows. Uranus is like electricity. And right at this moment, that powerful current is flowing directly through you. It's charging up your spirit, making your presence bigger, and guaranteeing that when the world looks in your direction, they won't be able to look away. People are often scared of Uranus because it acts so suddenly. It changes the entire story without any warning. But that's precisely why this moment is so important. The chosen ones aren't meant to slowly creep back into the picture. You're meant to arrive like a shockwave. The most epic comebacks are never slow and steady. They are explosive. So when this retrograde energy hits, don't think of it as a collapse. Think of it as an ignition. This current isn't here to burn you. It's here to power you up. The very same energy that makes other people's lives fall apart is the same force that's about to propel you forward, faster and louder than you've ever moved in your life. And the wildest part, that energy won't just light you up. It will tear apart everything and everyone that ever tried to dim your shine. For far too long, you, as a chosen one, have been tied down by invisible chains that nobody else could even see. Doubt was always whispering in your ear. Fear kept you frozen in place, and the heavy weight of other people's opinions pressed down on you like a ton of bricks. On the outside, you might have looked free, but on the inside, you were a prisoner. Uranus retrograde doesn't bother to negotiate with chains. It just snaps them in two. All of a sudden, without any logical reason, you'll feel something incredibly heavy just fall away from you. That constant anxiety you've carried for years. Gone. That nagging belief that you weren't good enough. Crushed. That invisible rope that kept you from moving forward. Shattered. Freedom isn't something that's handed to you. It's something you grab the second the chains are no longer there. This feeling of liberation will feel strange at first, almost confusing, like suddenly finding yourself in a room that has no walls. When you've spent your whole life in a cage, even a metaphorical one, you start to breathe differently when you get out. You move differently, and you'll notice that the world can sense this change in you too. This is the kind of freedom that you can't really explain with words. It just is. One day the chains were there, and the next day they were gone. That's the shocking power of Uranus. It doesn't ask for your permission to set you free. It demands your freedom. And once those chains are broken, there is no way to ever go back. This date isn't just random. September 6th holds a special code that most people will miss. The number 6 is all about harmony, balance, and putting things back in order. But isn't it strange, almost funny, that Uranus, the planet known for rebellion and pure chaos, picks this specific day to turn retrograde? That's no accident. It's a paradox. It's chaos arriving on a day that's supposed to be about harmony. It's disorder wrapped up in a package of order. It's like lightning striking on a perfectly clear day, not to destroy things, but to reset everything that's been broken. For the chosen ones, this isn't just a little detail in an astrology chart. It's a roadmap. Just think about your life. Hasn't it felt like a bunch of random pieces scattered all over the place? Like parts of a puzzle that just don't seem to fit together. On September 6th, that paradox bends in your favor. The chaos doesn't scatter you, it brings you all together. The very same storm that once broke you apart will now begin to stitch you back together. Sometimes, going through chaos is the only way to get back to order. That's the secret plan for this day. The 6th doesn't bring you comfort. It brings you a sense of completion. And feeling complete feels a bit odd at first. It's that moment when all the sharp, painful edges of your past suddenly click perfectly into place. The betrayals, the delays, the failures, they don't just disappear. Instead, they line up perfectly. And for the very first time, you'll see the beautiful pattern that was hidden behind all that struggle. Uranus is called the awakener for a good reason. It shocks you. It flips things upside down. And it forces whatever was hidden out into the open. But on this September 6th, it's not shocking you with a loss. It's shocking you with crystal clear clarity. Imagine the lights suddenly turning on in a dark room you always thought was empty. All at once, you can see all the doors that were there the whole time. Suddenly, you realize the walls you thought were trapping you were never even real. That's the kind of thing this date unlocks. And notice this, too. September always has a hinge energy. It splits the year into two distinct parts. There's always a before and an after when September comes around. But with Uranus making its move on the 6th, that split becomes something you can't deny. You'll feel the fracture. You'll sense the dividing line. Everything that happened before this day will feel like it was just preparation. And everything that comes after will feel like a massive revelation. For most people, this will just feel confusing. But for the chosen ones, it's the confirmation you've been waiting for. It's the moment when your life story finally starts to prove itself. The ruins you've been walking through weren't endings. They were the foundations. The chaos wasn't a punishment. It was the blueprint. And now, on September 6th, the blueprint finally reveals its final design. Think of it like music. All year long, you've been hearing random notes that are out of tune and have no rhythm. But when Uranus flips the switch on the 6th, suddenly all the notes come together. Suddenly, you can hear the beautiful melody that was always hidden underneath all that noise. It's not random anymore. It's a masterpiece. That's why this date is so important. Not because of some old superstition, and not because of a coincidence, but because the paradox of harmony and chaos crashing into each other creates the exact kind of pressure you need to have a breakthrough. The chosen ones don't just get through this paradox. You thrive in it, because only people who have truly lived through chaos can understand the beauty of order when it finally shows up. September 6th is the hinge. It's the paradox. It's the shockwave that builds you up instead of breaking you down. And for the chosen ones, it marks the moment when your scattered story finally makes sense. Your broken path becomes straight, and your comeback becomes undeniable. As Uranus begins to move backward, something interesting starts to stir inside the chosen ones. Memories, not just random, sentimental thoughts, not meaningless flashbacks, but crystal clear echoes of times in your past when you have already won. It's as if the universe is replaying your personal highlight reel, but this time it's louder, clearer, and impossible to deny. Out of nowhere, you'll remember the moment you walked away from a situation that was meant to destroy you. You'll remember the night you felt completely broken but still managed to show up the next day. You'll remember the day you were totally counted out, but still found a way to fight your way back. These moments will hit you out of nowhere, not as gentle memories, but as powerful jolts. Proof that you've always been stronger than anyone ever gave you credit for, including yourself. And here's the secret that most people will never know. Those memories aren't just random tricks of your mind. They are weapons that are being placed back into your hands. Each one of those echoes is like a flare being shot up in the dark, reminding you that being resilient is already a part of your story. A victory that you remembered is a victory that can be brought back to life. You might suddenly feel a rush of that old adrenaline, the same fire that got you through tough times before. A song on the radio might trigger it, or a place you visit, or even a particular smell. And just like that, you'll feel like you're standing in two different timelines at the same time. The one where you fought and won before, and the one where you're about to fight and win again. But this time, the result is going to be bigger, louder, and undeniable. These echoes don't just show you who you used to be. They show you who you've always been. Unbreakable. They prove that the person standing here right now isn't fragile or just lucky. You are forged in fire. Every scar, every night you almost gave up, every single moment of humiliation, it all became solid proof that you don't just survive storms. You collect victories in the middle of them. And pay close attention to this. Some of these victories might have seemed small at the time. Tiny wins, quiet decisions, but under the energy of Uranus retrograde, those small sparks are about to grow into roaring flames. The memory of walking away from the wrong situation when you could have stayed, that becomes your crown. The moment you chose to stay quiet instead of lashing out in anger, that becomes your shield. The night you cried your eyes out, but still got up the next morning, that becomes your sword. Uranus retrograde doesn't bring up old wounds just for the sake of it. It reawakens your weapons. And as those echoes from the past rise up, you'll notice something powerful happening. The people around you might start remembering too. They may suddenly recall what you've been through, what you've overcome, the stories they either forgot or chose to ignore. You will suddenly look different to them when they realize you didn't just survive. You built something indestructible out of the wreckage. Because this comeback isn't being built out of nothing. It's being built from the proof of everything you have already conquered. And that means this isn't just another chapter in your life. It's the sequel that your past victories have demanded. When the echoes of your strength rise, the chosen one rises right along with them. And this time, that fire will not be put out. Most people wait for things to be peaceful before they make a move. They wait for the water to be calm, for the skies to be clear, for the timing to be absolutely perfect. They wait to feel safe. But chosen ones were never made to be safe. You were built for storms. And that's exactly why Uranus retrograde isn't showing up to punish you. It's showing up to put a spotlight on you. This energy is dramatic, unpredictable, and impossible to ignore. And that's the whole point. The storm isn't here to make you quiet. It's here to make sure the entire world can hear you. The sound of the thunder is your entrance music. The flashes of lightning are your spotlight. The strong winds are your amplifiers, carrying your voice farther than it has ever gone before. Legends are never made in quiet moments. They are born in the middle of a storm. Think about every major turning point in history. They didn't happen during times of peace and comfort. They happened during chaos, revolutions, collapses, and awakenings. Storms tear down everything that is weak, so that what is truly unshakable can rise up. That's exactly what this Uranus retrograde is. It is the perfect storm, designed to make you undeniable. And here's the twist. Storms don't just test you. They reveal who you truly are. Anyone can put on a smile when the sun is shining. Anyone can move forward when the ground is stable. But when the winds are howling and the ground starts to shake, only the chosen ones can still stand tall. That's what makes the storm your personal stage. While everyone else is running for cover, you become the one that they can't take their eyes off of. Notice how storms feel chaotic, but also magnetic. People will gather at their windows just to watch them. They can't resist the lightning, The thunder, the raw power ripping through the sky. That is the same kind of pull your presence will have now. Your chaos isn't something you need to hide. It's the very thing that makes you unforgettable. And there's something even deeper going on here. Storms always clear the air. After all the chaos, the world feels lighter, fresher, and more alive. That's the role you play in this retrograde. You're not just putting on a performance in the storm. You are the storm. Your return doesn't just shake the ground beneath your feet. It changes the entire atmosphere for everyone around you. Think about it. When you rise up in the middle of a storm, you don't just rise for yourself. You set the example for others. You prove that lightning isn't something to be afraid of, but something to embrace. That thunder isn't the sound of destruction, but the sound of rebirth. The storm becomes a mirror, showing other people what is possible. When you refuse to bow down to chaos, you give them permission to do the same. So don't pray for the storm to be over. Step right into it, claim it as your own, and use its power. Because for the chosen ones, storms don't destroy you. They are your debut. And this Uranus retrograde isn't just bad weather. It's your curtain call. When the winds howl and the lightning cracks across the sky. Understand this. This isn't the universe trying to silence your voice. This is the universe building your stage. And when you step onto it, there will be no doubt about who you are. The storm is not your enemy. The storm is your stage. And when its curtain rises, you will not just be seen. You will be remembered. Retrogrades are usually talked about as being slow, heavy, and frustrating. Plans get delayed, energy levels drop, and people find themselves tripping over the same old mistakes. But here's the twist that nobody ever mentions. Chosen ones don't get slowed down during Uranus retrograde. You accelerate. It's like the universe secretly tilts the playing field in your favor. While everyone else feels like they're trying to run uphill with heavy weights tied to their ankles, you'll suddenly feel a powerful momentum carrying you forward. Your ideas will become sharper. Your intuition will light up like a torch in a dark cave. Doors that look locked to everyone else will swing wide open for you as if they were never closed at all. Meanwhile, your enemies will feel the exact opposite. The very same retrograde that is fueling you is dragging them down. Their steps will get heavier. Their confidence will start to crumble. The sneaky plans they always relied on will begin to fall apart under their own weight. Where you are speeding forward, they are stumbling backward, completely confused as to why nothing is working for them anymore. Retrogrades don't delay the chosen ones. They expose the people who tried to hold them back. And here's the thing. This split doesn't happen slowly. It's instant. One moment you and they were on the same level. The next, you are miles ahead, carried by a current that they can't even feel. It almost feels unfair, like you're in a race with the wind at your back, while they're stuck in a storm that's blowing right against them. Picture it, two runners on the same track. For your enemies, the ground starts to crack under their feet. They trip, they slip, they get tangled up in their own mistakes. But for you, the ground becomes smooth, almost glowing, guiding your every step. Each stride you take becomes easier, faster, unstoppable. That's the effect of Uranus. It bends the rules of speed, and it bends them to help you. And this isn't just about success in the outside world. It's about spiritual acceleration too. While other people are getting stuck in loops, having the same arguments, making the same mistakes, and living the same boring patterns, you will leap over that whole cycle completely. Your life lessons will sink in quicker. Your awareness will become sharper. What takes other people months to understand, you'll get in a matter of moments. This is why your enemies can't keep up with you. They're too busy reliving yesterday while you're already building your tomorrow. They'll call it luck. They'll say you have an unfair advantage. But deep down, they'll know the truth. The universe tilted the field to protect you. And here's the most dramatic part. Once that distance opens up between you and them, it doesn't close again. This retrograde is a divider. It separates the people who are meant to rise from the ones who are destined to just go in circles. By the time they even realize how far ahead you've gotten, the gap will be too wide for them to ever cross. This isn't just about moving faster. This is about separating yourself for good. And the beautiful part is, you won't even need to look back. Because while they're struggling to repeat their old, tired patterns, you'll already be unrecognizable, living in a rhythm they can never hope to catch. The chosen ones don't just move faster during Uranus retrograde. You move beyond. And once that happens, there is no catching up. There are times when the universe just doesn't feel fair. Times when you gave it your all, but something, or someone, came along and snatched it away. Your energy, your respect, your opportunities, they slipped right through your fingers. And for a while, it seemed like they were gone for good. But Uranus retrograde has a very strange way of bending time back on itself. What was taken from you doesn't just disappear. It circles around. It waits. And when the cycle finally turns, it comes back. This is that moment. Nothing that was stolen from a chosen one is ever truly lost. It's just delayed on its journey back to you. During this retrograde, doors that were slammed shut in your face might suddenly creak back open. The jobs, the chances, the paths that you were sure were gone forever may reappear. But this time, things will be in your favor. What once felt like a rejection will now show itself to have been a redirection. That's the hidden rhythm of Uranus. It's chaos that rewrites the story. But it's not just about opportunities. It's about your energy. The energy you poured into people who didn't appreciate you, into projects that seemed to fall apart, into relationships that drained you. That energy was never wasted. This retrograde pulls it back to you like a tide coming in, and it will rush back into you, even stronger than it was before. You'll start to notice it in small ways, a sudden burst of inspiration, a conversation that happens at the perfect time, a feeling that your momentum is being restored. And yes, some of you will see it happen in very dramatic ways too. People who once disrespected you may suddenly come back into your life with apologies they swore they would never give. Situations that once embarrassed you may completely flip, and all of a sudden, you'll find yourself in the position of power. This isn't about getting revenge. It's about restoration. Uranus doesn't just shuffle energy around for no reason. It rebalances the scales that have been uneven for way too long. Those who once took from you will start to feel the emptiness of what they tried to claim because it was never theirs to keep in the first place. And you, the chosen one, will feel that weight return to your hands, not as a burden, but as proof that destiny always finds a way to correct itself. Uranus retrograde doesn't just bring back what you lost. It delivers it back to you, upgraded. So, if you've been carrying that haunting feeling of injustice, if you've been walking around asking yourself, why was this taken from me? Then prepare yourself. The cycle is bending back in your direction. The story doesn't end with a loss. It reaches its climax with a full restoration. What was stolen is finally coming home. September is never just another month. It's the quiet divider, the hinge that splits the entire year into two halves. There's always a before and an after when it comes to September. And this year, that truth is going to be impossible to ignore. Because on September 6th, with Uranus retrograde roaring into full effect, the month doesn't just signal a change. It tears open a fracture in time itself. That fracture is not about destruction. It's a doorway, a threshold. And the chosen ones are the only ones who are meant to step across it. Imagine you're standing on a bridge. On one side is everything you've already lived through, everything you've already survived, all the doubts, all the times you thought it was the end. And then imagine that the bridge cracks right open, forcing you to make a choice. Do you cling to the old heavy weight, or do you walk forward into the unknown? September doesn't just pass by, it splits you in two. And the version of you that crosses over to the other side can never go back. For most people, this retrograde will just feel like confusion, like the ground is shaking under their feet. But for the chosen ones, it's the exact opposite. The fracture brings clarity. The lines are finally being drawn. The air will feel different because you're no longer meant to breathe the same atmosphere you once did. Whatever was weighing you down on one side of the bridge cannot follow you to the other. And here's where it gets dramatic. The fracture doesn't wait for you. It doesn't politely ask if you're ready. It just opens up. It cracks. It splits the timeline whether you decide to move or not. And that's why September 6th is so dangerous for people who try to resist change, and so liberating for those who embrace it. If you try to hold on to your old identity, you'll feel yourself slipping, as if the ground beneath you can no longer support you. But if you step forward with courage, the fracture transforms into the cleanest break you've ever felt in your entire life. Suddenly, all the invisible weight, the self-doubt, the hesitation, the old names people used to call you, it all falls away into the void behind you. What moves forward is sharp, undeniable, and unstoppable. That's why this month doesn't just mark the passing of time, it rewrites time. Crossing the September fracture means leaving behind the person you thought you were supposed to be, so you can finally become the person you were always meant to be. And once you cross it, there's no going back. Not because you wouldn't want to, but because the version of you that existed before this moment no longer exists. September doesn't just end the summer, it ends who you used to be. And from that ending, the chosen ones rise into a new beginning that no one ever saw coming. Chosen ones are not like the rest of the world. And during Uranus retrograde, that truth can no longer be hidden. You move differently, you shine differently, and you leave something behind that other people can't help but notice. The best way to describe it is like a comet. It's rare, it's dazzling, it's impossible to ignore, and it streaks across the sky when nobody is expecting it. A comet doesn't try to blend in with the other stars. It disrupts the entire sky. It cuts right through the darkness, leaving a trail of light that stays long after it's gone. That's what's happening to the chosen ones in this season. All the things that used to make you feel out of place, your unique quirks, your strangeness, your refusal to just go along with the crowd, suddenly become the very reason why people can't stop watching you. They might have made fun of your differences before, but now your difference is the only thing they can't forget. Uranus retrograde turns up the volume on that uniqueness, almost like turning up the brightness on a light that was already glowing. Where other people just see unpredictability, you carry a special kind of brilliance that actually sets the direction for everyone else. And just like a comet, you don't ask for permission to move. You break across the sky, leaving the world with no choice but to watch in awe. Think about it. Nobody remembers the thousands of ordinary stars they see every night, but everyone remembers the one comet that lit up the entire sky in a blaze of fire and light. That's how your energy is working now. You're not supposed to blend in or be just another face in the crowd. You're supposed to carve your own path across the atmosphere, unforgettable and undeniable. And the most powerful part is that comets don't just appear, they leave trails behind them. Trails that guide, trails that inspire, trails that other people use as landmarks in the sky. That's exactly what the chosen ones are doing now. The moves you make, the risks you take, the ways you refuse to make yourself small, they all leave behind evidence, a trail that other people will quietly start to follow, even if they never admit it. Chosen ones don't just rise. You leave a path of light for others to rise up behind you. So if you've ever felt like you were too much, too strange, too loud, or just too misunderstood, Uranus retrograde is here to flip that entire script. What was once used against you now becomes the very reason people admire you. Your so-called flaws become your fuel. Your unique personality becomes your power. And your trail becomes undeniable proof that you were here, you were different, and you could never, ever be ignored. Like a comet blazing across the dark sky, you don't just exist. You make history every time you pass by. And now, the world won't just see you. It will follow in the trail of light you leave behind. For too long, chosen ones have felt completely unseen. You kept giving, sacrificing, and holding on to your integrity, even when it cost you everything. But Uranus retrograde is about to prove that none of that was wasted. Every good seed you planted, every act of kindness you showed, every moment you stayed true to yourself, it has all been adding up. And this is the moment when the scales finally tip in your favor. Karma that is delayed is never karma that is denied. What once looked like a loss will come back to you as a reward with interest. Doors that were once closed will reopen. The worth that was once dismissed will suddenly become undeniable. The enemies who laughed at you will soon realize that they only added fuel to your rise. This isn't just about getting blessings. This is vindication. It's the universe saying, loud and clear, every single sacrifice you made mattered. And now, it is all going to pay off. If you're still here watching, I just want to say thank you for your time and attention. If you enjoyed this message and want to see more like it, please think about clicking that subscribe button. Your support is really appreciated. Also, feel free to share any of your own experiences or thoughts in the comments section below. Until the next time, take care of yourself and subscribe for more insightful content.